Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Now, in the last 24 hours, there has been a whole lot of immigration raid and massive deportation happening live here in the United Kingdom. Now, the whole deportation story has always been something happening in the United States. However, in the last 24 hours, the UK government have been making so much effort with the Home Office to deport as many people as possible. And compared to previous years, previous month, the number of people or number of raids that has been approved and implemented has increased dramatically. So the UK government is doing everything possible to increase the number of people being deported back to their home country. And in this video, I will share with you the full details on what exactly they're looking out for, what exactly is the plan on this increased number of immigration rate happening across the United Kingdom. So if you're an immigrant or you know someone who is an immigrant, you sure don't want to watch this video to the end. And if you're coming across my channel for the first time, do also hit on the subscribe button to join the amazing growing family. And my returning subscribers, thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate you guys. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. There's been lots of noise on the media in the last few hours about the increased number of immigration rate happening here in the United Kingdom. Now, if you check the news, it says that Home Office launches new, immigration rates, and the whole idea is to increase deportation numbers. Now, Labour boasts about tough immigration stance and prompts disquiet in party as it attempts to counter reform threats. So the whole idea now is that the Labour government is, one of the things they sold to the British people when trying to get into power and getting power of the Conservative Party is to reduce net migration. And some of the things they've been putting into place seems not to be working as much as they expected. And this whole immigration rate is another way to help reduce the number of people living and working in the United Kingdom illegally. Now let's read what the news has to say about this. Now, the Home Office is launching a fresh wave of immigration rates for illegal working and boasting of records number of deportation as Labour attempts to counter the growing political threats from Reform UK. Now, ahead of the second reading of the new border security bill today, officials announced that both illegal working visits and arrests since Labour come to power are swelled by about 38% compared to the previous 12 months. Now, one of the major challenges those who come into the UK illegally get to face is inability to get a proper job, unable to work. However, there are some employers that have been, giving people who are coming to the UK illegally a chance to work. And of course, they will just pay them, by cash just to avoid any paper trail. And one of the things the government is doing now is to raid a couple of these locations whereby, individuals who are living and working in the UK illegally get to work so as to make sure they're being detained and deported back to their own country. Now, one of the important information on the immigration bill, released a couple of days ago was that the government is going to, put in a massive fine on employers who are being caught, providing jobs or giving job opportunities to those who are living in the UK illegally. So that's one of the things released on the bill. Now, in order for them to actually achieve this, they've decided to increase the number of immigration rates happening. I mean, places like bars, nightclubs, locations whereby it's possible for illegal immigrants to work are being raided right now, and so many people are being detained and deported back to their home country. Now, the Home Office Secretary is expected to join an early morning raid this week targeting illegal working, while the government will broadcast footage of deportations, a number of them involving foreign criminals from detention to removal centers and on to waiting planes. So they are really not wasting time on this. There's no time to spend months on processing people for deportation. The whole idea is to get them arrested, detained, remove them from centers, and then get them on a waiting plane back to their home country. So the whole idea is to make sure that the processing time for this deportation is increased, just to ensure that people are not unnecessarily detained for a long time, thereby costing the government a whole lot of money, feeding and all of that. So that's what is happening right now in the UK. Now, this was some part of the media called this a Trump style, because this is Trump's plan for the US to deport as many illegal immigrants as possible, but it looks like the UK is also trying to adopt the same, approach to deport as many immigrants as possible back to their home country. Now, if you check out the news, it says that immigration rules must be respected and enforced. For far too long, employers have been able to take on and exploit illegal migrants, and too many people have been able to arrive and work illegally with no enforcement action ever taken. This is said by the UK Home Secretary. Now, this is true, to be honest, and I think most of the things these employers do basically is they're not trying to do the illegal immigrant a favor; they're actually trying to exploit them. So, for a job whereby legally they are required to pay about £9.50 legally, for example. Now, because this illegal immigrant doesn't have paper, this transaction is not being processed. There's no documentation to prove this transaction. They offer this illegal immigrant sometimes £4.50 and sometimes £3.50 to do the same job that the employer was ideally expected to pay about £9.50 for. And this is one of the major concerns around the government thinking that these employers actually exploited these individuals, and not just these individuals, they're exploiting the UK economy, which is why they're actually trying to make sure that this rate is effective and they get as many employers. So not just the immigrant that will suffer, also the employers that got them on the job will also be required to face the law on this. Now let's go ahead and see what is also on the immigration, on the information on media. Now it says that not only does this create a dangerous draw for people to risk their life by crossing the channel in a small boat, but it results in the abuse of vulnerable people, the immigration system, and our economy. Now, Downing Street is planning to go ahead, is planning to go beyond simply taking the fight to reform. We don't think it's enough just to look strong on migration. We actually need to be strong. We have done really well on returns, but people say they don't believe it. That if it was true, they would see it on the news. It's so said. So the whole idea now is that whatever they're doing, they're planning to, put in a footage of every deportation they are doing, just to make sure that the media can see what exactly is happening and see that the Labour Party is actually working to reduce net migration. And aside from trying to get their numbers down or increase the number of deportation happening, they're also trying to discourage people coming into the UK through the small boats, because when people get to know that, they can get a chance to work in the UK if they come in illegally, this encourages more people to want to move into the UK through the small boats. Now, the whole idea now is with this rate, with this increased number of deportation, many people will find it unattractive to come into the UK through the small boats and potentially help reduce the number of illegal immigrants coming into the United Kingdom. For me, I've watched a couple of videos on this whole rate, and it's really, really scary, to be honest. And, with the idea of the waiting time or the processing time being reduced and people being detained, processed almost immediately, and then getting on a waiting plane, it definitely would shake a whole lot of people thinking and planning to come into the UK illegally. So yeah, this is the update around the massive deportation currently happening here in the United Kingdom in 2025. Let me hear your thoughts about this in the comment section, and if you're coming across the channel for the first time, do also hit on the subscribe button to join the amazing growing family. And my returning subscribers, thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate you guys. So this will be the end of this video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you.